Rockstar Games has produced the biggest and most widely known franchises in video games, including Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption. So the bigger question is how did they become the powerhouse studio they are today? That's right, today we're going to cover Rockstar Games, so buckle up as there's a lot to cover. In order to understand where Rockstar came from, we have to go all the way back to 1984 with a company called ACME Design in Scotland. Now, Acme Design developed a couple of games for the Commodore 64 and a couple of other small consoles, but then they signed a publishing deal for a company called Psygnosis. During this time, they ended up changing the name of one of the games they were developing from Coppercon 1 to Draconia. Now, in 1987, Acme Design would change their name to DMA Design, which stood for Direct Memory Access Design. Now, after changing the name of their company, they would then change the name of the game they were working on again from Draconia to Menace. Now, when Menace released, it sold well enough for them to be able to keep developing games. Now, after developing a couple of small games, they would have their big break in 1991 with the release of Lemmings. Now, Lemmings would sell 15 million copies and would have 5 sequels with 2 Christmas expansions. Now, because of the success with Lemmings, this is where they could get way more ambitious with the games and titles they wanted to create. And that is where we get the first Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto would release for Windows in 1997 and was both a critical and commercial success. After this, DMA was bought and sold a couple of times as a studio until March 12th, 1998. This is when Take-Two Interactive would buy a company called BMG. They were a dominant British video game publisher. During this time, BMG actually had the properties to GTA, therefore Take-Two now owned the intellectual property of Grand Theft Auto. And as a small note, during this acquisition, Grand Theft Auto was actually being made as a port to the N64, but was then cancelled. After this acquisition, BMG employees Dan and Sam Houser, Jamie King, Gary Foreman, and Terry Donovan would all move to New York to work for Take-Two. Now, shortly after this move, Sam Houser would be appointed the VP of the product development team for Take-Two after some restructuring. In December 1998, the Houser brothers and Jamie King would establish Rockstar Games as a high-end publisher for Take-Two. This would